Shardpunk Verminfall is one of the latest strategy turn-based tactics games to release following a very XCOM-like formula, but with a hint of Darkest Dungeon thrown in to offer something new. But is it worth your attention? Let's find out. But first, a quick disclaimer. I did receive a free copy of Shardpunk, but it in no way affects the review of the game. I'll still assess the value of the game based on my own experience with it and consider its list price as if I bought it myself. Okay, let's get to the review. Shardpunk has all the makings of a great strategy turn-based tactics game. Risk versus reward decision making, running to and from half and full covers, flanking your enemies, setting up your overwatches, making tough decisions, and BS. A whole lot of BS. Okay, it's really not XCOM levels of BS, at least at the game's normal difficulty in my experience. In fact, I felt like I was getting lucky with my shots more frequently than in XCOM, but you're still often placed in overwhelming positions such that you may need to use up a valuable resource, watch as a member of your team bleeds out, or abandon an opportunity to loot extra goodies, all so the rest of your team can live to die another day. All of which are staple elements of these types of games. You'll need sound strategy and a bit of luck, okay, maybe a lot of luck, throughout your playthrough to make it deep into the game. Besides the typical turn-based combat you can expect from Shardpunk, survival aspects are here as well. You'll have to scavenge for medical supplies, scrap, food, stim packs, weapon parts, and fusion cores. We'll get into all of that in more detail a little later on, but let's back up a minute. You start the game by choosing 3 out of the 4 available human characters and 1 automaton for your team. Human characters can be killed during your runs, but if you lose your automaton, your support unit, the game is over. These characters all have their own unique strengths and weaknesses and some unique skills that set them apart. Tilly here has a strong melee attack with her katana, and even has a katana combo attack which will refund AP if you land a kill, allowing for a lot of high risk, high reward scenarios. Mycroft on the other hand has a shorter movement range, attack range, and less than stellar accuracy, but with a far more powerful weapon and a close range AoE attack. Automatons can attack themselves, but they do provide support in other ways. The one you start with, for example, can throw stun grenades, enrage enemies so they focus on them, or enter support mode where anyone standing within a 1-tile radius around them gets a boost in attack and accuracy, while also preventing weapons from gaining any heat. Oh right, we have to talk about heat. Instead of using an ammo-based system, weapons in Shardpunk will begin to heat up with each shot fired. At full heat, you can take another shot, even doing extra damage in the process, but at the high risk of the weapon also backfiring, damaging yourself in the process. Venting acts like a reload to cool the weapon, and each character has 2 AP or action points available to them each turn, so you have flexibility to move twice, fire a shot and vent, or even set up a double overwatch. There's other things that only automatons can do, such as opening these supply crates for extra resources. Okay, back to some of the valuable items you'll be picking up along the way. Grenades act as a nice AoE attack while keeping your distance. There's stim packs which act as temporary heals during combat encounters, with your health going back down to its original HP after the encounter. These also can be used to revive someone who is bleeding out, so they are important. But the most valuable item is the very versatile fusion core. It can revive team members, including automatons, perform devastating AoE attacks, or immediately open the door to the bunker. Speaking of the bunker, your main goal for each map is to get to the safety of your next bunker, collecting resources along the way. If you don't want to use up the rare fusion cores, you'll need to breach the door, which will require you to wait a couple of turns, while reinforcements start to rush your location, so you're frequently weighing risk versus reward here. Okay, so where does the Darkest Dungeon-like elements come in? These are most apparent in how the game incorporates stress, negative traits developing from that stress, and shelters which act like camps from Darkest Dungeon. Stress can build up as your team gets surprised by enemy reinforcements or as they take damage. Eventually they will max out their stress, leading to negative traits developing for that character, or it can even lead to some panic states where they do the dumbest things imaginable. Oh good, great, yes, please do that. You can also sort of recruit units. You may encounter hostages who are bleeding out along the way, rescue them in time while using up a stim pack in the process to have them join the crew. In between combat you have your shelter phase. This gives you a set number of actions you can take to heal your party, craft more stim packs or grenades, search the shelter for resources, or resting to reduce stress. Being able to craft and heal is contingent on you having enough resources to do so, so this is where all that scavenging and looting comes in. This is where you can upgrade your weapons too. These are fairly simple but welcome modifications that increase damage, accuracy, number of shots that can be fired before venting is required, and more. At the end of the shelter phase, distribute any food you have on hand to restore 1 more HP, then decide your next path. Choosing your route along the branching pathway for each chapter has its own strategic elements, as you'll decide between a path that may contain deadlier vermin littering your path, but with more supplies available to loot, versus a path that may be less deadly, but at the sacrifice of not being able to use grenades due to the weak walls of the sewer you're in, for example. There's a few things specifically that I really like about Shardpunk that works well and makes it a more engaging experience. For one, there's hidden combat techniques. These are discoverable mechanics that the game doesn't tell you about that you can stumble upon, which will then pop up into your codex as you encounter it. These can include things like a scavenging bonus to get more resources as you loot multiple bodies, crates, or shelves in a single turn, or how you get a bonus when entering Overwatch together with another team member that's nearby. More and more layers to the combat mechanics would get revealed over time, making me look forward to my next run to start over with my new knowledge of some new things I could take advantage of and new ways to strategize. And it was easy to stumble upon a lot of these just by playing the game normally, so I didn't really feel cheated at any point. Another system that works well are the in-game achievements. You're rewarded with a medal for your actions, and these aren't just for show, as the medals can be exchanged for permanent unlockables. These can be cashed in for things like new weapon upgrades, new characters to select from or encounter as hostages, new automatons, and new skills. This was a big motivator for me wanting to strive to reach some of these achievements and milestones. There's also the team upgrade system, which are stats that affect the whole party as you level up and get deeper into the game. This can affect things such as increasing the effects of healing, increasing the effects of reducing stress in your shelters, or reducing the wait time on bunker doors being breached. All of these are simple but effective ways of making you feel like you accomplished something even on a failed run, and it makes you want to jump back in for the next one. As for some of the rough edges on this one, I wish you could see more info on the enemies. As far as I could tell, you can only see the enemy's movement range and not things like attack range or abilities. For the most part, you get an idea of this based on learning from experience, but as one example, I didn't feel like I ever understood at any point in time how the Plague Rat's poison attack range worked. Having a bestiary that filled out as you take more enemies out would have been a really nice addition to this game. So in this sense, the game feels overly simplistic compared to the other elements of the game. I would have also liked to see more interesting and unique maps in my playthrough. It seemed like there was a lot of repeating elements even in my first run of the game, so I could see it feeling a bit repetitive compared to many other tactical games of this style. However, with that all said and done, despite these shortcomings, I still really enjoyed my time with this one. It has a nice blend of simple mechanics that are easy to grasp with some nice nuance that gets peeled back over time that adds a lot to the experience. And it's still brutally punishing if you're not careful, so experts of the genre will still feel challenged. And at the same time, because the game's excellent tutorial and slowly discoverable hidden combat techniques, it also makes the game a nice entry point for those new to strategy and turn-based tactics games. And most of all, the game just has some terrific value at its current price point. While the game doesn't feel like it is quite the same extent of depth or variety of content as some of the heavy hitters of the genre, there's still a lot of meat to this game to keep you busy for a long time for such an affordable price point. Even at the full price, I would consider Shardpunk well worth it for what you get out of it. Different characters to try out and trying new skills makes it worth the time to experiment with different builds to find the perfect winning combinations, so it's still easy to get a lot of playtime out of this. While I only put in just over 10 hours before doing this review, I'm far from feeling like I'm ready to put the game down. There's still just a lot more to offer here and a lot I haven't experienced yet. Though I might sleep a little bit easier if I did stop here. I'm sorry, Mycroft, you deserved better than this. And that wraps up my review. I don't like number ratings, so I just give my straight, unfiltered thoughts and feelings on the games I play, so you can decide if it's the right game for you. Let me know what you thought of Shardpunk in the comments below, and of course like the video and subscribe for more indie game previews and reviews just like this one. Maybe you'll find one of these other videos interesting. Until next time, I'm Colonel Dupes, and I'll see you in the next one.